December the 12th. New week. Updates in election news. I know, right? Still going. So, Karen Bass, you might have heard that name before, Congresswoman, is now the new mayor of LA. First female mayor of LA. Congratulations to her. So, the Democrats have Trump's taxes for the last 6 years. What are they going to do next with that? Elon Musk lets more Twitter files go. House passes a defense bill. And what do y'all feed your dogs? And with all that said, let's get started. Go. Well, we talk about everything that's important to the working man. And we're not politically correct here. So working man means men, women, whoever's out here getting it. We come to deliver the news that's important to y'all. And with that said, this is the Working Man Committee. Number one story today. Karen Bass is the new mayor of LA. And Kamala Harris actually swore her in. Yes. Karen Bass, if y'all remember her. She's Congresswoman from California. That was also the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Y'all might have seen her a lot back in the during the George Floyd incident. And let's get more about Karen Bass. I'm gonna give y'all a moment to go back in her resume a little bit, and I'm gonna show it to you now. Go.
And daughter of a postal carrier, Karen Bass has become a political figure with a national profile. After serving as the Speaker of the California State Assembly, Bass moved to Congress 10 years ago, served as the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, and was the point person on police reform legislation. She was also considered and passed over both as Joe Biden's vice presidential running mate and for California's Senate seat vacated by Kamala Harris.
Yep, so Karen Bass has been in the state legislature and in Congress. Now she's the mayor. Let's see. So she's sworn in as the first mayor of LA. And her number one thing to do, as she's now the new mayor, is tackle homelessness. Yes. Homelessness is a big problem in LA. For everybody that lives in LA or visits LA, homelessness is a major issue there. There's many reasons why. It could be from mental health, drug use, and the price of housing. So hopefully Karen Bass will get a hold of that. And so let's say, talk more about Karen Bass and so forth. And it seems like there was more or less, is this an option out for Karen? I understand a lot of people go to Congress and go out there for a while and then find local jobs, right? So, because like I said, one of the bigger jobs, I guess, for the bigger cities, I guess mayor is a big job. If you're in a bigger city, LA is a bigger city, and so forth. Could be, like I said, I know some people leave Congress and like be the mayor of Chicago. Chicago's a bigger city. They're the mayor of New York. New York's a bigger city. Or they go from Congress to like governor and so forth. And so she goes out of Congress to mayor. Now, do you want to do more for the people? I'll bet. I got you. But also, my question is this. What happened during your congressional chair? Like I said, she hits his lofty heights. And so let's go and see what happens on her last active chair when she was during George Floyd incidents. Go.
Police reform negotiator for House Democrats. And Congresswoman Bass, I appreciate your time tonight. I know that this has been the work of months. You've been talking to your fellow negotiators. 2 deadlines for a deal have been missed, but you've still been working. August recess now looming in just days. Is a police reform deal in serious jeopardy of dying?
I don't think it's in serious jeopardy, but of course I'm concerned about it because we're going on break. As you know, the House goes on break tomorrow, but the Senate will be in next week. And I know that my colleagues in the Senate have been meeting on a daily basis. I know I Hopefully, we'll see Senator Scott tomorrow. Saw Senator Booker yesterday. So the work goes on. Of course, I am frustrated. I wish this would have happened a long time ago. But until the two senators say it is over, it is not over. And you know how long, you know that we can negotiate and talk about legislation for a long time before it actually occurs.
Yes, no, it's definitely true. Now, you mentioned Senator Tim Scott, the chief Republican negotiator. He would talk to Romani Raju last week about the potential for a deal and said, quote, if we're having the same conversations next week, then it's dead. Okay, that was a week ago. You're telling me you just spoke with him yesterday. Has the conversation changed, the conversation that you had with the senator?
Yes, the conversation is changing, and the way I can describe it without going into details is that when you are negotiating something, it's important that you reach a conclusion. Considering the bill, even though the focus was only on one part of the bill is quite complex with about 15 to 20 different pieces. And so you go through each of those pieces and work your way to a point where you agree. So I don't believe that the conversation is the same this week as it was last week.
Yep. All right. So during that period of time, as chair, going through trying to talk about police reform and so forth, nothing really happened with that legislation. But what did happen, she was able to get Nancy Pelosi and some more Democrats to go over to Ghana, take a little tourism suit and see how slavery and all that stuff happened over there, and had everybody take a knee on the Capitol. So you can say, I mean, she found enlightenment there and so forth, or just photo ops. So, but my thing is this, right? When it comes to Karen Bass, it's like the Congressional Black Caucus is a good, decent sized chunk of the Democratic caucus and so forth. Why couldn't you get anything passed over the hurdle? If it was, like I said, qualified immunity was a sticking point, why couldn't y'all just pass something as a national database that every officer's in there, their record follows them through and so forth, and they don't go from doing something wrong with the police and just go over there and be the deputy over here, or say a police is somewhere else and so forth, and when it shouldn't be. Like I said, nothing came out of it. And then so I don't know if they said, hey, don't push too hard, we got you a soft landing, or she feels like she can touch the people closer. But hopefully, like I said, that's just my opinion on that. Hopefully that is the case, and like I said, she'll do good and help with the homeless population and turn California back to one of those places that people like to go visit. All right, our next story. So, I'm gonna categorize this story as the dog chasing the car. And what happens when a dog actually catches the car? Yes. Yep, so the Democrat House has former President Donald Trump's tax returns. Yep, they got him. They went through all the legal rambling like, hey, a norm to say that if you run, you must show 7-8 years of taxes, because we gotta make sure that when you was a senator or a house member or anything in government, that you was only getting your check for the government, not a whole bunch of other places. So with Trump not having any political resume beforehand, that he's making big money out in businesses, they're like, hey, we want to know, because you might not be as rich, and we can say, hey, look at you, you're not as rich as you say you are. So after years of long fighting, the House finally has access to 6 years of tax returns from Donald Trump. They wanted 6 years. Well, okay. It is now up to the Ways and Means Committee Chair Neal to decide what to do. Now, like I said, now you got the bone. Now you caught the car. What are you going to do? Like I said, Trump's out of office, so trying to embarrass him. I guess he's trying to run against, I guess, embarrassing him now. Like, hey, Trump, you say you just rich, but you only made $5 last year. Or, like, hey, you ain't paying enough taxes. I don't know what they're going to say. But under the tax privacy laws, Neil, a Democrat from Massachusetts, has limited options of what he can do next. But as the chairman also faces mounting political pressure to finish what he started, yes, you caught the car, yes. Let's see, and so finish what he started and shares, like I said, from the tax returns. This is the thing, right? There's privacy out here, so they'll just take like press office. Here we go. This is the income. This is the deductions and so forth. We can't just like call a press conference and just share it all. So what are you gonna do, Neil? At this point, aides and members are acknowledging that the most likely path for Neil is to summon an executive session of the committee and let the committee decide what's next from the Ways and Means Committee. Yeah. So Neil, like I said, I don't, you know what? I'm pretty sure Neil was like, yeah, back in they're like, yeah, we're gonna get Trump always. Now that always is starting to come in, like, hey, what do you do, Neil? Yeah. So the thing is, like, so Trump never released his taxes, and he doesn't have. There's no law, there's no regulation, or any of that stuff that says he has to release his taxes to run for office. No, there's not. I mean, you can do a financial disclosure, which Trump has done with financial disclosure. Like, hey, I get, this is all places that stuff comes in from. But actually show the raw tax report, you don't have to show that. And now, like I said, now that the Ways and Means Committee has it, and it's like I said, what is he going to do? And what can do? I mean, like I said, because of privacy laws, you just can't get up there and just go line by line. I mean, there's always that leak factor. You can go get some coffee and leave something over there and walk off. I don't know what happened, the paper gone, and the next thing is in the news. But hey, we're gonna see. Cause like I said, is Donald Trump's personal taxes public policy for one particular person? Now my thing is this, judges, why y'all let that go? I mean, it ain't like he had to show it and so forth, but it ain't like his particular taxes, they're gonna create some laws on it, or the Ways and Means, like, oh, there's one wage, we need some of these means. So, like I said though, this is gonna be interesting. I'll see what the chairman Richard Neal does with the Ways and Means Committee and these tax and Trump's taxes for the last 6 years and so forth, and what relevance does it have to anything, to any policy and so forth. And like I said, at the end of the day, Trump's do privacy, and there's laws that protect him. And so we'll see what happens with that. Alright. And speaking of ways and means and policies and so forth, you in the back. Way back there in the back. You know, y'all, the ones that says, student loan, how dare we pay our people's student loan? It costs too much. I need y'all to stand up and protest this then. The House passes the defense bill that also adds in aid for Taiwan and Ukraine. But I'm going to keep the Taiwan and Ukraine back. Okay, the House passed Thursday from 350 to 80 for the new budget for the Defense Act. Yes. And the act is worth $858 billion, an 8% increase over last year. Defense levels, and it's $45 more billion than the White House requested. So, let's think about this. So the White House requested come on, Ben, wait a minute. Let's get this right. White House requested $813 billion. The House said, yeah, you know what? Take another $45 billion, just because you might need it for something else. I don't know. But you back in the back. Y'all pissed off yet? You know what I'm saying? Y'all was mad about student loan paying off, little 10 grand for somebody. You said more or less 400 billion. This is over 800 billion. How you feel? Yep. So they proposed this last spring. It is provided to increase aid to Taiwan and Ukraine. The Senate is expected to vote on legislation next week. So, and like I said, remember, don't forget, they took that Joe Manchin dirt bill out of that. The House did, and slinged it back over there. The comprehensive bill with the Senate drop variation provides transfer to countries, irregular forces over human rights concerns. House lawmakers had previously attached these provisions. So the House lawmakers wanted, you know, say, hey, we not going, hey, you ain't doing right by your people, you ain't getting it. They took all that out. And like I said, that original bill with all the transfers to countries and so forth passed 329 to 110. 101. But like this one passes even better this time for some reason. It is more money. Alright. Additionally, the bill blocks Biden administration efforts to retire certain weapon systems and discontinue a couple of nuclear weapon platforms. Hold up now. House. So old stuff that ain't no good no more. Y'all want to keep that around. Keep servicing that. You know, maintenance costs on that stuff is high probably. It could be even older. Who is that helping? Is that helping the soldiers? Or is that helping that campaign to refund, re-elect, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And discontinue a couple of nuclear weapons. Okay. What else we got here? Let's see. And the bill also authorizes $10 billion in military aid for Taiwan through 2027. So Taiwan to get a check every month, or our government pays that to Taiwan until they get $10 billion. Okay. Let's see. And it also addresses the backlog of foreign military sales for the island nation. So okay, so we ain't been selling them nothing. Hey, we ain't got it right now. We gotta stop. And so the bill says, all right, no, nobody get it to them now. Okay. Let's see. Taiwan security could eat into the U.S. State Department's $57 billion budget. So the State Department's gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, push these stuff and so forth. I'm thinking to myself, I mean, we throwing numbers around. Hey, y'all in the back with student loan, you know what I'm saying, don't like that. Y'all pissed off yet? I need y'all to come up front, start marching. What? It's for defense, not people. Y'all don't care because the people ain't getting, the U.S. people ain't getting the money? What? Whatever. Meanwhile, Smith notes that the bill provides $800 million to Ukraine security assistance against the war in Russia. So Ukraine gonna get $800 million. Taiwan getting $10 billion. Okay, the funds allow the Pentagon to contract new weapons and equipment for Ukraine. So we're gonna do $800 million, and buy Ukraine some weapons. Okay, you know, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. I'm with you, supporting Ukraine and so forth. But I look at it like this: the people that's mad about student loan forgiveness need to be mad about these budgets right here. This defense budget, okay, is $858 now this year, and that's 8% over last year. And so when this thing gonna hit $1 trillion, it's on its way, marching hard and fast. We have a problem. Come on now, what we gonna do? No. All right. Oh, let's go ahead. So with all that money being spent, the Air Force had successfully tested a hypersonic missile that travels 5 times the speed of sound. All right. So I guess the money's buying something. So this is a new weapon. But if you go back to our previous story, that the House wants to keep old systems. So they got one that barely goes speed of sound. But this is a 5 times. You think like we better have some of these and those other weapons and so forth. But hey, like I said, go to the campaign to re-elect, blah blah blah. Yeah. So the Air Force successfully fired a air-to-ground supersonic missile that reaches speeds of 5 times speed of sound off the coast of Southern California on Monday. Yep. The test of its all-up-round AGM-183A air-launched rapid response weapon on Friday, with the first launch of the prototype missile happening the other day. And so let's take a look at the missile, what it looks like. Go. I'm with it, man. I'm with the cool tech all day. I like it. And so forth. But for $850 billion, and the student loan people that don't want that still ain't said nothing about nothing yet. Come on now. What we need to do? Oh. If a couple of that dollars, $858 with direct payments to some people around here that wasn't part of the military. Or the military, the complex. I guess y'all would be pissed off. Yep. Whatever. All right. We gonna call this next story Twitter Corner. Yes. Twitter files. X-Files, 20 files. Twitter files. Part 5 reveals how staffers felt about blocking Trump. No, granted, all staffers were not on board with suspending him because he didn't really do anything to violate terms and conditions. Yes. So here we go. In the 5th installment, Elon Musk's Twitter files, Munn revealed that staffers believe that tweets written by former President Donald Trump around the events of January 6th had not actually violated the policies, despite the company saying they did at the time. For years, Twitter has resisted the call, both internally and externally, to ban Trump on grounds of blocking a world leader from the platform or removing their controversial tweet would be hidden information from the people. Yep. Yes. So like I said though, they're like, why we block? Why are we kicking him off the platform and he ain't do nothing? So it turns into, you just kind of didn't like the guy at the top level, and they're like, hey, he just got to go. Granted, Twitter's a private company, but the way social media is ingrained is almost like a news outlet. Now you're censoring. And so, like I said, Elon Musk has opened up the doors, turned the lights on, and it's all shining through. So like I said, Elon Musk, he drops like I said, he's trying to reinvent the platform, put sunshine in here. But like I said, no, check this out before we go. There's a person that worked at Twitter, they didn't want to ban Twitter because the Chinese guy, he says, because it kind of reminded him of how China censors people. and he didn't want any part of that or be part of it. So, but like I said, we will keep our eye on Twitter files. Like I said, sunlight cleanses a lot. All right. Let's see our next story. We're gonna take this to the science. Yes. Time to talk about science. Let's see. U.S. scientists have reached a long-awaited nuclear fusion breakthrough. Woo! Uh-oh. Love to have breakthroughs. Let's see. For the first time ever, scientists at the National Ignition Facility at the Livermore National Laboratory in California successfully produced a nuclear fusion reaction, resulting in a net energy gain. And sources familiar with the project confirmed, and it's a CNN story. Yes, they finally got nuclear fusion to happen. Let's see, the U.S. Department of Energy is expected to officially announce the breakthrough on Tuesday. So, on Tuesday, they're gonna share everything, but this is preliminary here. As a result of these experiments would be a massive step in the decades quest of unleashing infinite sources of clean energy that could help the end dependency of fossil fuels. Yes. Researchers have declared that the attempt to recreate nuclear fusion, replicate the fusion on power of the power of the sun. Woo! Hope y'all can contain that. It's the U.S. Energy Secretary Jennifer will make the announcement on Tuesday on a major scientific breakthrough the department announced on Sunday. All right. Let's see. Nuclear fusion happens when two or more atoms are fused into one larger atom, producing and generating a massive amount of energy as heat. It's unlike nuclear fusion, the power electricity all over the world. It doesn't generate long-lived radiation waste. All right. So let me give you a little history, right? So y'all see these electric plants all over the place, and you see maybe steam coming up or a cloud or smoke, whatever. What happens is all these things are doing is, and there's always a lake beside it. All they're doing is boiling water, making steam, and a steam turbine. And so they take the nuclear rods, put them in water, turn them up, make steam, turn turbines. So what they're saying is here, without the nuclear waste, they got some atoms that can create enough heat to boil water, create steam, turn turbines, and nuclear fusion has happened. All right, I'm with it. I am with it. So like I said, hopefully, like I said, this experiment is replicatable, and we can have clean energy, infinite clean energy, and like I said, and let's get fossil fuels off the table for heating our house. Excuse me, whew, the dust it is, and so forth. All right. Our final story today. Oh, y'all sure y'all want me to do this story? Really? This? All right. Want me to do this story? Okay. Let's see how it goes. I'm not a dog owner. I'm not a dog person. But okay, whatever. Hey, working man, y'all need to know. Oh, here we go. Would you switch your dog to eating lab-grown meat? Yeah. All right. So what they're working on is, let's see. All right, so it's a UK study early this year found that 61% of pet owners now want to know about environmental impact of the food they buy for the animals. So now y'all care about what the food, how the food is made, and so forth. So I guess some of y'all want the dog to be vegan and eat more vegetables, but I mean, dogs got canines for meat. But all right, rock on. All right, so let's see. So given the footprint of the pet food industry this may well be a good thing. Let's see. The global pet food sector emits more greenhouse gases than countries including the Philippines do. Wow. So since animals or everybody got one besides me and so forth, everybody's such a fan to feed all these animals. It's causing a lot of greenhouse gases and a lot of impact to the environment. So you can drive your electric car, but then you're making up for the electric car by feeding Barky Van Schnauzer or your cats or whatever animals that you have. And so here we go. So the same paper calculates that every year an area doubles in size in the UK is used to produce pet food for cats and dogs. Okay, so the planet get bigger because y'all keep getting more animals. So you got some people got one animal, and then some other people are the cat lady and got a whole house full of cats. Okay, and then check this out. So meanwhile, a separate U.S. investigation said that cats and dog food is responsible for up to 30% of the environmental impact in producing meat. 30%. That's a lot. So it is time to take conservative measures for meat in the menu of the pet instead of switching to more substantive alternatives such as vegan food. $100 of vegan food. Oh man. Let's see. Or lab grown meat. So a London-based company, Good Dog Food, is hoping to bring to the market next year. The joint venture between biotech firm and a technology firm is the manufacturing process of lab-grown meat with stem cells, are typically taken from an embryo, but also sources from adult animals that are being grown in the laboratory. So we about making Dolly the sheep again. Okay, rock on. Remember that back in the day when they cloned the sheep? What happened to Dolly? Dolly? Did they ever do any more cloning? I don't know. I don't think about it. Hey, y'all check and see if they clone any more sheep. But like I said, the technique to produce meat without livestock. So they're making a technique to produce meat without livestock, without the need of raising and slaughtering animals. And the Good Dog Food team says there is a need to source additional stem cells for this project. Yeah, so back to the main question. Will you give your dog or animal lab-grown meat? They're creating it from stem cells. They're creating the meat, look something like that. And would you? Like I said, I'm not a pet owner, so I don't know. I have no opinion on it. Alright, cool. With that said, this has been the Working Man Committee. I'm your host, Brandon T, and we'll see you next time. Peace.